welcome to Richmond Raceway here in the virtual Richmond, Virginia for race number 8 of the Undisputed Cup Series. Tonight we have the DR17 Graphics 150 here from Richmond, a brand new updated Richmond and a brand new updated next-gen car. So a brand new challenge these drivers are going to have to take tonight. And we'll see who can conquer the new updates. And first I drove a few laps myself just a few minutes ago. Felt very fun. I think we're going to have a really fun race tonight. Lack of grip on the racetrack, so I think these drivers are going to have a nice fun challenge to drive this racetrack around this 3/4 mile racetrack.
Yeah, Richmond, a very tough racetrack to race at usually, and with this update, it seems like it's a little bit more loose on the exit, a little bit harder to drive, but a kind of a good feeling, like you mentioned, kind of a good hard, somewhat.
Yeah, very challenging. It doesn't feel weird. Like it's kind of like what it used to be. Like it was floating on the race. It kind of feel like it was floating on top of the racetrack. Kind of feel you have the grip in the race car. It feels like in the track. Feels a little. It still can feel floaty on some of the racetracks, but it feels like you have the grip, have control of the race car. I think it'll be putting on very good races. Qualifying getting underway right now. It's definitely tough way to set a lap, and qualifying it's very loose, especially on those cool tires. You gotta warm up those tires just a little bit. Currently, Kyle Schmitz on top of the board with a 21.710. In practice, it was Cameron Craig with a 21.742. So right now, Cameron Craig he's gonna have to do a little bit better than what he did in practice if he wants to try and get that pole.
Apparently, Cameron Craig had not able to set a lap. He ran all 3 laps. None of them counted, so he's got to start in the back once more. Again, he started in the back last week out Watkins Glen. He's got to start in the back here at Richmond as well.
Yeah, and Cameron Craig he worked his way through the back from Watkins Glen last week, and he drove up through the field and won that race in dominant fashion. He's going to have to try and do that again, but tonight, long race, 200 laps, and about 65 laps on fuel is the base number. Probably going to be anywhere, probably around 60, 63 to probably around 70. Depends on if you're shifting or not, but I mean, pretty much have to shift here, I think. It's just, the 5th gear is a little just too slow. But yeah, that'll definitely be where the challenge is going to be, just getting through the shifts properly, getting up through the up through the gears, up through the shifts perfectly, not missing your shifts. So that's definitely going to be a big challenge there. Dakota Bly completing his lap there, 23.063 for his fast lap. And I think that's everyone's qualifying right there. That is, so with 2 minutes left here in qualifying, Kyle Schmitz will be on the pole with a 21.710. And he'll be on tonight's pole.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, with this new updated Richard, the lighting was not enabled under night, so can't really get a night race that probably hoped for how it would be in real life. So, but definitely will be a fun race to watch, especially how these drivers are gonna have to take this new challenge of this race car. And while we have the moment, let's talk to our pole sitter of Kyle Schmitz, able to get the pole with a 21.710 there. Just how was it out there tonight? Just setting that lap, and just how did the grip feel, how the car feels compared to what it has been all season long?
A lot of grip right now. That was my fastest lap ever. I've never even been in the 21s before. Was panicking trying to get here, having some engine issues. But car felt great. Track felt great. It's gonna be fun. A lot of fast guys here tonight. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have that grip there too, but just how do you think the tire wear is going to fall off as well? I don't know if you really haven't done any long run, but brand new tire model, a lot more tire wear. So just how do you think this tire is going to wear off? You think you're going to get lack of grip and you make it a little tight?
I definitely think it's going to get tight. I have not done anything this week after the update. So this is going to be a new experience for me. I did do a 40 lap run today, and I dropped off about 0.6. So I don't know what that is compared to everybody else, but hopefully there is a lot of tire fall off. Obviously that's what all the racers want, real life and in fake life, so hopefully it happens.
All right, well, once again, congrats on your pole and good luck in the rest of the race.
Thank you very much.
So that was our pole sitter of Kyle Schmitz, able to put it on the pole tonight, almost a 10th faster than Jason Bottoms. So, but Cameron Craig also was fast in practice. We'll see what he can do, but I think we're gonna have a really fun race tonight. Just like he said, there's a lot of grip on the racetrack. You definitely can't get grip once those tires heat up, but just cool tires get really loose. But it's very fun, very fun to drive, and especially Iowa as well coming up in the next few weeks. That'll definitely be a fun race to watch as well. But tire wear are going to be a pretty big factor to see how these drivers can manage this tire wear, especially over a 65 lap run, because that's what the fuel is going to be. So You probably about, we'll see. You probably want to see save a little bit of fuel, try and make that a two-stop race, 65 130. If you go 65 laps per run, so you're going to be a little bit short, about 5 laps short in that final run, assuming you go green the whole way. We'll see how those drivers kind of tackle the strategy tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the strategy call is here. Maybe short pit, maybe some drivers go longer, and really you don't really know a lot with this new next gen update on what's the better strategy. Usually tire wear we've seen in the past and the next gen hasn't really been too important, but it could be pretty important here tonight at a track like Richmond. You know, short tracks usually have some high tire wear, especially at a track like Richmond. Usually, at least in real life, it's been pretty high tire wear racetrack, but only about 6 cents fall off in 40 laps doesn't seem that much. But we'll see how it is in the actual race once we get in racing conditions.
And we'll see how these drivers tackle this racetrack, and we'll see where they start to tackle this racetrack. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for tonight's race here from Richmond for tonight's DR17 Graphics 150 here from Richmond. Starting on the pole, we just talked to him, Kyle Schmitz, with a really good lap of a 21.710. Jason Bottoms will start in second. Cody Dorsey will start P number 3. Alongside him will be the 77 of Alex Bonsignor, and starting in fourth. Starting fifth will be the 22 of David Wells, and Derek Riley will start sixth outside of him. Seventh will be the 81 of Evan Patinko. Keith Long will start 8th. Scott Kerber will start 9th tonight in that 14 machine. Dakota Bly will start 10th in that 25 machine. Or rounding out our 11 car field tonight will be the 48 of Cameron Craighead.
Yeah, Craighead once again got the start in the back, like we mentioned that before. Watkins Glen, he was able to win that race at Watkins Glen. A little bit of a different challenge here tonight. He was fastest in practice though, so maybe he has something up his sleeve, possibly, but we'll see what happens here. Like you said, long race, 200 laps, half length of the real life Richmond race, but should be a good show here tonight on the update Richmond, and it looks a little different, not crazy amount, but you can kind of see just the details on the racetrack, around the track, the stands and whatnot, just a little different than the iRacing what it used to be. I think they used to have grandstands in the back straightaway, not anymore now. And they took off a lot of grandstands as well, but
especially we'll see how this, maybe a little bit of markers as well with the sponsor boards on the wall. Typically I like to use one of the NASCAR sponsors on the wall entering turn 3 to use as my braking point. That is gone now on this new update. It's also moved a lot differently, so some of the minor changes like that can really make or break just where you brake, where you make your time on the brakes. And just you gotta figure out a new point, a new cue to get that braking down. But the pace car gonna take the hard left turn onto pit road, and green flag is in there. We're on our way from Richmond. And on turn number 1, Jason Bottoms up the racetrack, and I use that outside lane to his advantage a little bit. He's gonna maybe tap the outside wall just a little bit. He's gonna clear Kyle Schmitz down into turn number 3. Gonna get it right down and ride that yellow line as best as he can. Wrap the yellow line as best as possible. So we're gonna make Boaster's pace here, but Kyle Schmitz all over his back bumper. We'll see if he tries to get to the outside, trying to make a move. But Jason Bottoms driving into turn number 1 up the racetrack a little bit. Gotta be a little bit careful to do that too much. You'll definitely overheat your right front tire. But so far, they single out for the lead. But Alex Bonsignor now under attack almost from behind of Cody Dorsey, but everyone kind of settling in now here early in this race.
Jason Mom is really sitting in turn 1. Here we go, Balfour race as well. Side by side.
Kyle Schmitz out of the bottom. He won back in Indy a few weeks ago, looking to get another win on the season. Able to take the race lead back from Jason Bottoms. We'll see how this tire wear, see if we get a big fall off here after about 15-20 laps. See if anyone maybe could maybe see some blown tires tonight. We know it is pretty extreme with this tire wear. The percentage kind of fall back, but the fall off and the heat kind of really don't build up like they used to. But also that's kind of good news because it tells you the tires are wearing for the actual tire wear, not just the heat. So we should actually see maybe two tires might be a little bit differently. I mean, two tires could work, but also they shouldn't just be completely overpowered. and that much faster because of just you have the colder tires instead of the just the worn tires. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe could see someone try and play that strategy later, but right now Jason Bottom's out under attack from Alex Bonsier down to the turn 1.
Yeah, the main thing is really just a lot of unknowns going into tonight. I mean, some of these drivers mentioned they practice a little bit, but you just really don't know that much about how the tires wear, what strategy will work out well, and what not. But early on this one, mostly single file, I think these drivers just trying to take it easy to keep it calm and just save their right front tires.
And also dirty air a lot more realistic as well. Richmond, typically, you wouldn't think of it being dirty air, but just the speed you carry in the wide entries, it's the speed you carry on the racetrack. It can definitely become a dirty air kind of funnel tornado around the racetrack. But we do have a caution out of the racetrack. First caution of the night. Not sure what caused that one. Trying to figure that out. It was David Wells off of turn 2, I believe. Heavy right front damage. You have to come and take it as fast rear. So I can't fix it, but just got loose off turn 2, it looks like, and maybe overcorrect from the outside wall. Oh, hits the wall. I think it's loose, trying to get back, and so a little bit weight shift off the corner, it looked like. Coming back up to the outside wall, and that brings out our first caution of the night.
I believe everyone else
drivers have 5 extra sets, so I don't think we see anyone down
yeah,
the
I think it's
early,
with 5 extra sets with 200 laps. I don't think you pit that right now, but I don't believe anyone else got into that wreck at all. But David Wells definitely got to fix that damage, and he's good. He does have a fast repair if he wants to use it, but he's not using it right now, so probably doesn't feel the need to really use it.
And tonight also being a dash for cash night, the perfect time to mention that. Tonight we have Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey, Brian Whitcomb, and one other driver. Don't know exactly who it is. Don't have their name in the Discord. But one other driver. So it's 4 drivers get the chance to dash for the cash. For Brian Whitcomb not here tonight, so we're down to at least 3. But Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey, they're both here tonight, so those 2 will be racing for extra $10 prize at the end of the night.
A little bit monetary gain for these drivers as well. Should make it a little interesting once we get to the later parts of this race. How aggressive will these guys be on their strategy?
Essentially, this caution is going to help them save a little bit of fuel. Normally, I mean, it was after a few laps, showing only about 65 laps on fuel. That could be easily get extended with the tire wear and how the tires fall off a little bit. But we're looking around 65 laps of fuel, so this caution is going to help them save a little bit more fuel. They should be able to make it on an easy 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, it'll just depend on when the caution comes out, and also how much tire sets they have left. Obviously 5 in totals, or 5 extra, so should be enough if we do go green the whole way. But you know, if there's a caution here or there, you could definitely be running out at the end and have to make that strategy call, and if you pit or not pit. Double firing back up here for the restart.
Now we'll see Kyle Schmitz how he can do on this restart. Now a little bit of tire wear now after those 6 to 8 laps or so. So you can see a little bit of wheel spin off this restart. Gotta be a little bit careful. Don't want to get too quickly on the power, because you can easily see some drivers go around very quickly. So see how these drivers play out with these restarts. The pace car is off, and green flag back in the air here from Richmond. Kyle Schmitz off to a great restart there. He's going to slide up in front of Jason Bottoms off of turn number 1. But Alex Bonsier looking for a move down to the bottom. He was trying to look to the inside, but not going to be able to get there. As Jason Bottoms going to hold the outside, but well enough. But here comes Alex Bonsier, just kind of holding the inside, staying right on his corner panel, just not able to stay close enough.
He has a single foul out pretty quickly here on the restart. The top 3 single foul out, and side by side for, I believe, 5th place there. As this Richmond, not the most multi-groove racetrack, but you can definitely make the middle lane work, as we see right there. Then Matinko up to 5th now, and here comes Cameron Craighead up to 6th, serving that drive-through penalty as well.
And just trying to get back up through the field, and Cameron Craighead back up on the lead lap, back up to the top 5 now. Cameron Craighead trying to work by Cody Dorsey now, looking to the inside down to this turn number 1. Get alongside, he perfectly wraps that bottom a lot better. Trying to stay to the inside, but just not able to get the run off the corner, but Dorsey able to get a really good run. Oh, can't crank it up the track just a little bit, overdrives turn 3 and 4. So now Dorsey is still holding the outside a little bit better. But he's still trying to work that inside lane as best he can. Side by side down into turn number 1. Stays alongside. These two not able, no one able to clear each other yet. As I think Craighead will get him off 4 here as Dorsey is going to slot back in line right behind him. Now let's try, but Dorsey with the good run off of 4. He's going to dive back down to the bottom into turn number 1. They're trying to get side by side. A little bit shallow entry, overdrives the center of the racetrack. It's kind of not really a great exit. He's gonna fall back a little bit, back towards Evan Patinko. But Richmond's just a lot of different ways you can drive the racetrack. Typically, you want to play Apex 1 and 2, but you can also try to maybe get a little shallower entry and carry more speed through the center and still not be too heavily affected off the exit. It's just how that turn 2 wall really comes up on you as it really just straightens out. At turn 4, you can be a little bit more aggressive with the getting on the gas as you have that wall on the outside. It doesn't really come up out of nowhere like turn 2, as you can kind of let the wheel off a little bit more gradually off of turn number 4 and it straighten it back out.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to drive this race car and drive this racetrack. Richmond one, they're probably, in my opinion, my favorite short track in NASCAR. Just very unique and just very different. You can drive middle, send in on entry, focus on the exit a little bit more as well. I mean, just such a unique racetrack, and I mean, it's very different than really any racetrack that NASCAR goes to.
Yeah, it's definitely just a great unique racetrack. I mean, you don't really see a 3/4 mile short track kind of like this. I mean, the closest you probably think of it, I mean, we broadcasted NAR Cup Series at Current a few weeks, about a month ago at this point, for their race number 2. That's probably really the most unique, probably the most similar racetrack you see compared to this racetrack at Richmond, but obviously not in the Cup Series as of yet. I mean, could be a great option if they upgrade the facility down there, but in California. But I think it would be a fun racetrack to kind of go to. It kind of drives pretty similar to Richmond as well, but just a little less banking, and it drives pretty similar though. But Alex Monster trying to look to the inside in 3 or 4 here for second on Jason Bottoms. Overdrives the entry just a little bit, almost gets up in the bottoms. But he's going to slot back in line off of turn number 4. They're trying to keep his nose out of the bottom, but he's trying to stay a little bit lower, a little bit shallower entry, not trying to burn off that right rear tire.
Yeah, right rear tire, very important not to burn up. I would say right rear and right front, easily the most important tires, of course. Left side's not really too big of a deal on these ovals at all. But, I mean, just depends on how you like driving your race car. But here comes Cameron Craighead to the inside now for 3rd. Not able to make it work quite just yet.
Still trying to work the bottom, not able to get there. It's definitely a tough track to pass. You gotta work for that pass. The inside lane's a little bit tough to pass, especially the outside lane. You can pin that guy on the bottom down, but the guy on the bottom can wrap that corner better, get the better exit, and get the pass down on the bottom, but also get it on the top lane if you can get to their outside. But it's very, very rewarding to get a pass done here at Richmond. Kind of tough, but it's definitely rewarding. Puts on really good racing. Kyle Schmitz up the racetrack a little bit in 1 and 2 as Jason Bottoms get that clean air on the nose, and now he's going to get to the inside. Side by side for lead now as Jason Bottoms goes down to the turn number 3.
Side by side for the race lead. And Bottoms use the bottom lane to make this work.
Tries to hold the bottom, tries to wrap the bottom a little bit, but kind of starting to see these brakes starting to get a little bit heated up. Some of these drivers starting to overdrive the corner a little bit more. Tires starting to lose a little bit of grip and a little bit less efficient on the braking. But up the racetrack again in 3 and 4. Now here comes Alex Fonseca, looks to the bottom maybe. Little about taking it 3 wide there. Backs off the corner. Now at bottom, still tries to hold the bottom. Still down there, able to stay alongside, but Schmidt's able to get the run off the corner for now. Guys, not gonna shut the door yet. Still trying to taking a pretty wide entry, just a nice kind of controlled entry, driving it straight into the corner. Jason Bottom was saying driving a little bit straighter, but also a little bit more shallower going into the corner, getting a little bit deeper in the corner, is kind of cutting down, kind of a little diamond in through the corner, and that's definitely another way you can drive this racetrack as well. But off at turn number 4, Schmitz able to pull away just a little bit for now, by a couple tenths of a second.
Yeah, these top 4 are very close together right now. Top 5 as well, Cody Dorsey just a little further back. They definitely have gapped the field.
Right now, Jason Bottoms now, he's been under attack from Alex Fonseca pretty much the whole time. I mean, he's been right on that bumper. They've been nose to tail pretty much the entire run so far. But like you said, these top 4 all close together. One of them make a big mistake. Everyone else is right there to pounce on it and try to make a move. But a little bit of contact going into turn 1. Bottoms trying to get to the outside of Kyle Schmitz there. Almost worked out a little bit there, but nothing contact, able to keep it together. But now Schmitz up the racetrack in 3 and 4, just trying to give them the bottom, just trying not to give up too much time. Notice the outside lane's a little bit easier to defend.
Yeah, the inside lane
just can't wrap that bottom good enough.
Yeah, you're
good enough to get clear.
When you're in the middle of top side, you're able to just pinch the guy on the bottom down. You're not able to get that good run off the exit of the corners off of turn 2 and off of turn 4. Kind of see that right now for the race lead, just not able to really do much.
And here goes Fonseca now on the outside lane, had the opportunity to get alongside Jason Bottoms. Now down to the turn number 1. They're up the racetrack in the middle, but just Bottoms, I think if he can just kind of wrap that bottom just a little bit better. I think he's starting to struggle a little bit with those grips on the brakes. Just be able to wrap the bottom a little bit better. He can wrap it, but Schmitz up the racetrack a little bit. Now Fonseca to the middle, 3 wide for the lead, but Schmitz able to get a good run off of 4. They back to double file. Down to the 1, Bottoms driving it in deep, running Schmitz up the racetrack a little bit.
Contact.
Maybe a little bit of contact, but down to 3. Schmitz backs it off a little bit more, able to stay up into the lead, keeps it clear off of 4. But Bonsior just trying to get by Bottoms, but he's got Kyle Schmitz right in front of him as well, so we just can't really find his way by Bottoms yet without having to try and get by Schmitz. But up the racetrack, Bottoms goes again. I think he's really starting to struggle with those worn tires of the brakes now.
Yeah, these guys have been on these tires for about 30 laps under green. We got 1 caution early on. Around lap 7. It's been about 30-35 laps green on these tires. So you're starting to see this tire wear around 8 tenths already fallen off during this race so far.
And you see the kind of the outside lane starting to come into play a little bit. Schmitz going up there, kind of using the outside lane. He's just kind of been stuck towards the middle. The bottom is almost a little bit of contact off 4 again. They're still staying side by side. You kind of see the run, the different lines these drivers are taking. Bottoms is trying to wrap the bottom as best he can. Bottoms is kind of take the middle. Schmitz running a little bit higher than that.
Bonzer might be able to clear off of turn 4. He had a good round on the back straightaway. But Bottoms is a great 3 and 4 right there, and he stays alongside.
Yeah, it's easy to wrap the bottom a little bit at 3 and 4, especially how how you can kind of just let go of the wheel off turn 4. The wall just kind of gradually drops away instead of just gets right there to you. Now bottoms again through 3 and 4, a little bit up the racetrack a little bit, but he's going to make a little bit of contact off turn 4. It's going to shove Schmitz up the racetrack, and that might allow bottoms to clear into 1 and 2 if he can get a good drive in, wrap the bottom well enough, but Schmitz drives it in deep in the outside lane, trying to pin him down off the corner, gets a good run off of turn number 2, but they still stay side by side, dead even down in the 3.
Yeah, this battle for the race lead has been going on for the past 10, 15 laps or so. Who can get out in front and maybe try to pull away here late in this fuel run?
Yeah, and these two have just been battling. Bonsiers has been right behind him, waiting, trying to make his move. But meanwhile, all this battling going on, they're kind of pulling away from the rest of the field. Cameron Craig is starting to drop off just a little bit, and they're really dropping off the rest of the field. Right now, about a second to 4th and about 2 seconds to 5th. So these drivers, even with the battle, still have that pace in the race car. Bombs at the racetrack a little bit, starting to get a little bit more grip into the corner, in a much better throw into there. He wraps the bottom, and he gets clear of Kyle Schmitz off turn number 2. That's what he needed. Schmitz, I think, just got a little bit too deep, couldn't get the car turned down like he was before, and now those tires starting to fall away. And Jason Bottoms to the race lead here from Richmond.
Out in front now, can he try to pull away from these 2 drivers behind him, or will he see another battle for the race lead? As pit window probably around 15 laps here, 15, 20 laps from now.
And Alex Bonsier, he was one to stay on bottoms the whole run. He's got that good pace as well. So see how quick he can get by Kyle Schmitz here. Maybe if he can chase down Jason Bottoms for the race lead. He's working the bottom now, but just couldn't get the run off turn 2 that he'd hoped. Drives it in deep to the 3 and 4, up the racetrack kind of on that first kind of dotted line. About 20, 25 laps from pitting here for our first pit stops. We'll see if some of these when these drivers will pit. You don't probably won't see them pit any longer. It's a pretty small window. Pit too early, you won't be able to make it on a 2-stop strategy. But if you go too long, I mean, and you really can't go much longer than that after 65 laps. So they'll need to try and go about 67 laps to stretch it to 2-stop. They did have that 1 caution, so they should have been able to save it up. But we did have a couple drivers come down and top it off that last caution. I believe Cody Dorsey may have been one of those drivers to top it off there. And Cameron Craighead as well. So those 2 drivers, they're able to get a few extra laps of fuel. So those guys should be pretty safe on a 2-stop strategy. But also to the tire where should be able to naturally save that little bit of fuel as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think a 2-tire strategy, or not 2-tire, 2-stop strategy is usually the best strategy. I mean, you can maybe do 3, but I just don't know if the tire wear is enough. I mean, they've fallen off about a second after around 50 laps or so. I mean, I just don't think a 3-stop strategy would work out. I think a 2-stop strategy is definitely the way to go if they can make it, but be pretty close though.
And I also could see someone try a 2-stop strategy. Typically that kind of works in real life when most people do it, but most drivers do it, but also just a little bit different. But just normally I only see that really works when the tires just kind of keep falling off. They keep falling off slowly and slowly, but really they kind of just stagnate off after about maybe a second slower, and they're just kind of staying around that time. They're not really falling off any more than about a second. They're just kind of staying right there. Just they fell off and just kind of plateau after about a certain amount of laps.
As we've seen a few drivers come down pit lane. There's Derek Riley down pit lane right now. As right now, most drivers kind of just settle in right now. 50 laps into this one, 50 plus laps in this one, 1/4 of the way through. Jason Bottom currently leads. As the top three have really pretty much got the field. You have Cameron Craig a little further back. Cody Dorsey as well. A little further back, but the top five pretty much gone from the rest of this field right now.
Yeah, Alex Bonsior, he's stalling to fall off. He's starting to fall off now for Kyle Schmitz, but Kyle Schmitz staying within about a few tenths of a second on Jason Bottoms. Can't really get too much closer, but not falling off that much, staying right there with the Jason Bottoms. He was trying to struggle a little bit with in the dirty air as well. Could be a little bit affected by that, but as you did see, Derek Riley, now Cameron Craighead coming down pit road. So those drivers maybe try a two-stop strategy, well, a three-stop strategy. So we'll see how that works out for those drivers.
Yeah, pitting around lap 55, so the pit around lap 110, and then once again, oh, we have cars spun. I think down the back.
A little bit of smoke off turn 2. I think they kept it together. There's Evan Pateko off of turn number 2. He's going to come down pit road. Maybe a little bit of left side damage there. I think maybe spun off of turn number 2. Maybe hit the wall like we saw earlier with David Wells.
He was driving that pitted recently.
Here. Maybe
just got loose.
A little bit too early. Yeah, just and then hard to the inside wall. Definitely going to be a little bit of wheel damage. He'll probably want to come down and take his fast fares. But now he's pretty much forced on the three-stop strategy now. So we'll see how these drivers take that. But yeah, three-stop strategy, probably pit a lap 50, 100, and 150. They're going a little bit longer, so you probably want to go probably 55, 110, and maybe probably around 155 to 160. But Jason Lott is way up the racetrack there in turn number 1. Luckily, he had a big enough gap. It's not going to cost too much time to Kyle Schmitz, but Kyle Schmitz closing the gap a little bit. You start to see these drivers starting to get tight, starting to struggle on these brakes. I mean, we kind of saw that. The brakes starting to heat up the tires, not having much grip, braking less efficient, and definitely much more of a challenge.
As we've seen some places, I was one car on the outside wall. Very slow.
Probably trying to get around Alex Bonsignor. Derek Riley on a different strategy, trying to get his second win of the season. Race number 1 at Atlanta doubleheader a few weeks back. For now, these top 3 kind of staying close together, but Bonsignor really starting to fall off the pace a little bit. Lucky he's only gonna go about 10 more laps. He can get 4 fresh tires. We'll see how he can do on those fresher tires, but Kyle Schmitz and Jason Bottoms, these two not really going away from each other. Might be a 2-horse race leading this race. Derek Riley trying to work his way through on the fresher tires now. Where he made his first stop already. He'll no doubt have to pit 2 more times. No one else will only have to pit 2 more times. So they're gonna have to make. He's on an extra stop strategy and that third 3-stop strategy, but he's trying to work his way back through this traffic. His leaders have to navigate that lap car there of Scott Kerber. Riley not a whole lot faster than what we expected, but there you see it down through 3 and 4, just how much grip it's better through the corner. He gets around the outside. Gonna be able to clear down the turn number 1, but Derek Riley, see where he cycles out compared to these races. He was pretty far back. Compared to the race leaders when he pitted, but Cameron Craighead also on the similar strategy, on a 3-stop strategy, a lot farther ahead. So we'll see where Cameron Craighead, where he cycled on this strategy compared to the race leaders once they come down pit road.
Yeah, I mean, right now, lap 63. I mean, fuel window around 65, so expect these drivers to pit at least probably the next 3 laps. Maybe add a couple laps there due to the caution that we had early in this one, so maybe around lap 70 they can push it, perhaps, but we'll see how late these guys stay out and how long they do. I mean, I do think the 3-stop strategy is definitely doable. I mean, 2-stop, you have to go to around lap 75 probably to make it work.
Here comes Jason Bottoms down pit road. Oh, little bit wiggled. That's also a problem, a challenge here at Richmond. Especially with the section car, once you transfer onto the apron, the car really likes to snap around on you, bottoms out. But Jason Bottoms down pit road, kind of early lap 64. You just have to go a little bit longer on that final run. So you're trying to go about 5 laps longer. You need to go about 67 laps on fuel to evenly make it on a 2-stop strategy. And especially could have happened with Cameron Craighead, but he'd already pitted. But Cody Dorsey definitely going to be able to want to make that work. He topped off earlier. But he also already came down pit road, so well, maybe that field may be a little bit shorter than 65 laps. But Alex Bonsier staying out of the racetrack. Kyle Schmitz down pit road now as well. But here comes Alex Bonsier down pit road into turn number 3. You get right on that apron perfectly. Not going to risk trying to transfer it down on the apron and risk bottoming out. A little bit safer, but all the leaders, our top 3 leaders down pit road. But Jason Bottoms cycles out right behind Cody Dorsey, but in front of Cameron Craighead. As Cameron Craighead, not a great pit stop that I think you'd hope for. So, actually, no, he is behind Cameron Craighead. Cameron Craighead way out in front.
Yeah, he pitted around 12 laps ago. Cameron Craighead will be the race leader once it cycles through. So one of the early drivers to pit. Cody Dorsey pitted 5 laps ago. Jason Bottoms 1 lap ago, obviously, right behind Cody Dorsey, around 1 second between those 2 drivers.
Yeah, Kyle Schmitz right behind him with a couple about a lap pressure tires. So we'll see if that extra lap helps him enough. But right now they're kind of falling back a little bit compared to Cody Dorsey, as Cody Dorsey now gets by Keith Long on the fresh tires, as Keith Long staying out. So he's able to stretch this a little bit longer. So we'll see. Keith Long should be easily make it on the 2-stop. But right now Kyle Schmitz trying to find his way by Jason Bottoms with those 1 lap pressure tires. We'll see how they do, but they are really far back compared to Cameron Craighead, about 7 seconds. So we'll see how much those 12 lap difference makes. Cameron Craighead, he is pretty big gap ahead of me. Actually, it's closer to about 11 seconds. You're gonna need a little bit more gap than that. You need about a lap and a half to make, as that's what you lose down pit road. So you need about a lap and a half to gain about a lap and a half on the rest of the field with this pit strategy. So you can see how that works out. We'll see how much time he loses compared to these guys on the fresh tires. He'll probably pit in about 30 more laps, 30 to 40 more laps here. We'll see how this multiple stop extra stop works out. As Keith Long will come down pit road. Dakota Bly. Oh, but Kyle Schmitz hard to the wall. Turn number 2. Spins it off turn number 2. Kyle Schmitz, heavy left front damage. Just stop him on the apron at 3 and 4, and that's going to be his night over, I think. So he stopped it. Now he's going to keep rolling. Kyle Schmitz, big mistake off turn 2.
As we're taking a look at this one, yeah, just lost it. Maybe those cold tires, not up to temperature. 4 laps in this one. He's got to get fast repair now. And that's going to be a race ender here if we don't get a caution here soon.
And he was battling up for the race lead with Jason Bottoms, and now Jason Bottoms, a little less pressure now he has to deal with. As that was really his only driver that pitted with him, but now he's trying to work by the guys on the older tires of Cody Dorsey. But Keith Long staying on much longer. He's actually not that far behind. He comes out right behind Cody Dorsey. So Keith Long, about 6 lap pressure tires than Jason Bottoms. So Keith Long made a really good pit stop there. Might be in a shot to maybe make that overcut work really well. He was able to make that work really well at Auto Club. Obviously, we had a few cautions that threw a wrench into those strategies, but Keith Long wanted to make that overcut work early in the season. We'll see if he can do it again. Jason Bottoms right now will net P2 once Dakota Bly comes down pit road, as Dakota Bly is staying out a lot longer. We saw he's able to get save fuel early this season.
As
got
also
second at Legacy, Texas with that strategy.
It's Kyle Schmitz. He has a black flag.
Yeah, Cameron Craig had a little bit of front end damage. Maybe got it into the bumper a little bit, but he's just going to clear Dakota Bly now. So Dakota Bly going to go a lap and a half down once he pits. So he's at the pit pretty soon. You don't want to go too much longer. He's trying to stretch this as long as he can. Dakota still staying out on the racetrack, as he did pit before. He did top it off on fuel after that first lap, after that first caution. So Dakota can probably only go maybe about 2-3 more laps at most. Cameron Craighead out to a 2-second lead already, but right now he's at a 5.5-second lead over Jason Bottoms, who pitted 12 laps later and will make a one less stop than Cameron Craighead. So let's see how much time Jason Bottoms can gain. Right now, Alex Bonshore is actually about 5 seconds back to Jason Bottoms, so he's lost a lot of time with his strategy right now. But Keith Long, he's also fallen a lot far behind. I think he may have got a penalty, especially a lap down. Actually, no, he was a lap down once he came out of pit road compared to Jason Bottoms and Cody Dorsey. Apologies on that call earlier, but now Jason Bottoms works by Dakota Bly. Dakota Bly really struggling with those tires now. He's fallen off a lot. Saw off that he ran a 23.8. I think he's may have
owned a
tire almost, but now he's going to come down pit road. So we'll see where Dakota Bly cycles, as he was pretty far back compared to Cameron Craighead. He's got to make a lot of ground up, but he will be on a pretty big overcut over Jason Bottoms. And he'll be on the same amount of stops as Jason Bottoms, but he's going to have a lot of time to make up. He's going to have to make up a lap and a half. Don't really know if that will happen. It's going to Bly a really big overcut. We'll see if that works out for him. I think he definitely get him a much better spot than where he was running.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, still long way to go in this one. Around 120 or so laps to go. But out front, Cameron Craighead currently leading.
And Cameron Craighead pitted a lot early. He's going to make that extra stop, so we'll see if that works out. I mean, it could be work out well for him, but right now, Jason Bottoms closing the gap in. Lap times right now, Cameron Craighead at 22.78 last time by, and Jason Bottoms are at 296. So he's about a lot faster, maybe about half a second faster right now. Just Cameron Craighead hoping those tires fall off a little bit. I hope they start to even out, but he will pit in probably about 15 laps, so he definitely will stay out in front of him, but I don't know if the extra pit stop will help him. He's gonna have a lot of ground to make up. And now he's got Scott Herbert behind him trying to get his lap back. Cameron Craighead on the oldest tires out here on the racetrack right now. Jason Bottoms down to about just over 2 seconds now, 2.5 seconds. So Bottoms really closing that gap in. Also keep in mind, we do have our Dasher Cash tonight. Jason Bottoms, one of those drivers. It's racing Cody Dorsey and Brian Whitcomb. But Brian Whitcomb not here tonight, and also one other driver. I believe that other driver is here tonight either, so. So Jason Bottoms and Cody Dorsey pretty much racing for the Dasher Cash tonight. That's your $10 prize. Jason Bottoms out in front of Cody Dorsey right now by about 3 seconds, so Cody Dorsey still well in this. Could see a lot of cautions happen. Pit road mistakes, that could happen. We saw that happen multiple times this season. Saw that happen at Auto Club more prominently in race number 1 of the season. So multiple drivers get speeding penalties. Pit road always a tough challenge to get on and off, but right now Cameron Craighead still a race leader now, only about 1.1 seconds over Jason Bottoms. So we'll see. Jason Bottoms going to start to get that 30 a little bit. Could affect him. Could hurt his turn down a little bit. Turn through the corner. We'll see how well he can get by Cameron Craighead. I mean, he's going to catch him, but we'll see how tough it's going to be to pass Cameron Craighead on the much older tires. As other tires start to even out a little bit, as Cameron Craighead, he's kind of falling off to about that second mark. So he's not really going to fall off much more. Down at running 22.8s. Jason Bottoms right now running 22.4s. That time by Jason Bottoms at 22.603. Cameron Craighead at 22.795. So tires starting to even out a little bit for Jason Bottoms, so he's not too much longer. He will have that less pit stop, so this right now he's pretty much well on his way to beat Cameron Craighead. And so they still have to make up a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Jason Baum's looking really good strategy call-wise. He's 11 lap pressure tires in Cameron Craighead. We'll see what happens here once about out for the race lead right now.
Bottom's trying to work his way by, staying right behind him, being patient here with Cameron Craighead. Knows he's got the fresher tires. Don't want to be too patient though, because those tires will even off and it'll be very tough to pass him. He's gonna try to look to the inside here, maybe into turn number 1. He sticks about it, stays right behind. Keith Long right behind, trying to get his lap back. Oh, but he's gonna get into him! He's gonna get into Cameron Craighead. Cameron Craighead goes sideways.
Oh!
He's gonna get into Keith Long and go around the back straightaway.
And
he's gonna hit the inside wall.
wall.
Both those drivers. They
And
stay on
that's
the
gonna
apron,
win
but
the
that
O.
does bring out the caution.
Second caution of the night there.
Jason Bottoms is getting into Cameron Craighead a little bit there. And Cameron Craighead spinning off turn number 2. And Keith Long nowhere to go. Just innocent bystander that one. Just has the gap there. Just maybe just comes up just a little bit. Just can't get. Just slightly taps Cameron Craighead and just sends him around. Just a little bit higher than maybe. A little bit higher than Cameron Craighead would have thought.
There was a gap there, but just kind of is very close. Think just a racing incident there, in my opinion.
I just, especially there, you have that, you kind of have that gap, especially with Cameron Craighead. He's trying to get that lead apex, trying to get that run off the corner, but you really, when you do that, you leave the inside vulnerable, and it really leaves the inside open, and someone aggressive can try and take that move, and it really catches the guy on the outside off guard, and you gotta leave them space, and you kind of have to hesitate, kind of react to get out their way. But Cameron Craighead just leaves a little bit of a gap, but Jason Baum just gets in there, maybe a little bit too high as well, but just kind of racing against it, hard racing for a race lead. But now all these drivers are gonna come down pit road, top it off on fuel. But yeah, that definitely gonna change a little bit of this race, and especially with the strategy.
Yeah, as right now, it's still one stop left in this one, so it's really just a one-stop race from here on out.
Yeah, Cameron Craighead, though, does come out of pit road first, so great pit stop for Cameron Craighead. One that doesn't help Keith Long. He could not get the wave around. He could not get the lucky dog there since he was involved in that caution. So he's going to have to take the wave around. Dakota Bly gets the lucky dog from that. Scott Kerber, Evan Patinko stuck 1 lap down. Kyle Schmidt stuck 2 laps down after his big incident. So he's still going to have a lot of time. Still over 100 laps to go for Kyle Schmidt to get back into this thing. I mean, and also we saw it before. Just you can see it in real life all the time. And cautions can breed cautions. So we'll see these drivers maybe get a little bit too aggressive, knowing we're getting in that back half of the race now. Trying to get maybe a little bit more aggressive, try to keep their track position. Could cause more mistakes and cause more wrecks.
Guys, there goes Keith Long, not able to pit during that caution due to getting his lap back there. He'd also be involved in an incident, unfortunately for him, but he does get his lap back. He's got to hope for a quick yellow probably here in these next probably 15-20 laps.
And also Jason Bottoms goes to the back. That wreck was deemed on him from race control, so or maybe he just asked for one. But not sure. I haven't really seen that at all this season, so I think he just asked for, well, maybe. But that does put Cody Dorsey now in the dash for cash lead. Pace cars off, and going to lead him back to green will be Cameron Craighead. Alex Bonsior to his outside. Green flag back in the air here from Richmond. Cameron Craighead now, he had that pace earlier, so now we'll see if since he's got the clean air, they got the track position, we'll see if he can pull away as Bonsior gets passed by Cody Dorsey down the turn, off of turn number 2, but off of turn number 2, down the front straightaway. Cody Dorsey stays alongside, he's on the outside, but Alex Bonsior pulling a little bit into the corner, shorter distance, entering turn number 1, a little shallower entry. Dorsey off the racetrack a little bit. Bonsior able to keep the shorter distance. Oh, going to get big loose. He's going to go off the racetrack. And he's going to collect Eric Riley. And that might bring out the caution. They actually keep it straight, but now the spinning Kyle Schmidt's hard on the wall again after a second incident for the night, and he already took his fast pair. And they're kind of want to foreshadowed it a little bit. Cautions can't breed cautions, and a big mistake there And big cold tires catching Alex Boncio off guard.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times tonight, especially off of turn 2. That's really the trouble corner here tonight so far. And just drivers, I think, just getting loose there and just side by side and yeah, just loose and man. As also a couple other drivers involved there as well.
Yeah, Derek Riley, nowhere to go there. Kyle Smith's getting involved. Those two drivers are having good runs. I mean,
yeah, just unfortunate for them.
Mazingo getting into there. Jason Bottom's barely getting through that one.
Let's go on board with that 5 machine there. Kind of see all of it. Going low to avoid, the wreck happens lower as well, and then kind of scoots his way through in the middle. As I think 4 drivers involved in total there during that wreck.
Have a few drivers getting involved, and now we're halfway into this race, the back half of this race now. So get a little bit, so these drivers are going to get a little bit more aggressive, try to keep that track position, and we kind of saw that there. Cameron Craig able to hold the race lead, as Cody Dorsey still holds second. Jason Bottom's up to third now after he restarted last there on that restart. Took the EOL, so Jason Bottoms up to third. Got through that wreck. Very lucky to get through that one. There's a lot of drivers getting involved. Pitsenko getting involved. Riley getting involved. We also obviously Bonsignor getting involved, and Kyle Schmitz. He's down on the racetrack, had a little bit of damage. I think he just came down and fixed it. He did go another lap down, but that will delay him getting that lap back. But he looks okay. I think Kyle Schmitz will be perfectly just fine. He's just gonna need about 4. He's gonna need about 4 more cautions to get back on the lead lap. But see everyone coming down and fix damage. There's only two rows are gonna be double file here, so everyone else just coming off pit road, going to the tail end of the longest line. But the pace car going to take that hard left turn onto pit road once again. Craighead leads the back green, back of the way here from Richmond. Cameron Craig had a great launch side by side for the second, and also that dash with cash position with Cody Dorsey and Jason Bottoms. With Bottoms really good through 1 and 2 compared to Dorsey's. Dorsey was way up the racetrack. Falls back into third, but he gets a good run, tries to dive it into the outside in 3 and 4, stays alongside there, but down the front straightaway now, everyone's single filing out. Maybe trying to settle back in now.
As like I mentioned before, there's still 1 more pit stop left in this one if we do go green, but cautions have breed cautions these last few laps. Looks like most of the single files a little bit more spread out on the restart than we've seen initially, as Cameron Craig still leads here after that pit stop under yellow that he had.
Right now, Cameron Craig pulling away for the rest of the field. Has that clean air. He would have put a lot of time into the field, but did kind of fall off a little bit compared to the rest of the field in that first long run we had. So we'll see if he can kind of keep that, manage that tire a little bit better out in front with the cleaner. Oh, but he gets really loose off turn number 2. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Almost kind of just similar to Alex Bonsignor, what we just saw. Both tires maybe starting to catch some of these drivers off guard, but now the tire's starting to keep back up a little bit. Get some more grip into the car. Jason Bottom's pacing himself, just kind of take it a little bit easier, wrapping the bottom a lot better than what he was doing in that first run. Coming single file, still taking their time. It could have them set up for another long run here, but we still have one extra pit stop. So you can see a wide range of pit stops here. I mean, we saw Jason Bottoms. He ran out the fuel tank. Same with Dakota Bly. Ran out the fuel tank dry. It's about 65, 70 laps. So, and restart with about 100 to go. You can see some of these drivers maybe split it perfectly even about halfway, 50 laps. You could see some drivers maybe stretch it all the way to go 65, maybe closer to 70. I could see some of these drivers maybe pit really early and go 40, pit on lap 40 and go 60 laps. So a lot of a wide range of strategy here now. So we could see, and we saw it happen with Cameron Craighead. He got a really big gap after pitting 12 laps earlier. He did get caught by Jason Bottoms after about 20 to 30 laps or so. Maybe
Yeah,
play that
so
right.
definitely,
I mean, you play that strategy right, could work out.
Yeah, and also, you know, never know when a caution could come out as well. Could help you out or hurt you as well. And, I mean, right now, Cameron Craighead looking really good. Everyone in the top 3 have the same amount of tires.
Right now, I mean, if you kind of see a kind of replay of what we saw in the first run, Cameron Craighead pits early, he kind of evenly splits it. And maybe Jason Bums goes about 64 laps. Oh, but Keith Long goes right off turn number 2. A little bit of contact with Alex Bonsior down to the turn number 3. And it drags it all the way into 3. And that's going to bring out the caution. I think a similar incident what we just saw last time. Keith Long just lost a little bit off turn number 2. Take a look at that one. Bonsior in that one again. It's just another driver maybe losing off turn number 2 here. Just gets a little up the racetrack, gets powered down a little bit, turns a little bit off the corner. Oh, he gets loose and overcorrects back up into Alex Bonsior. And Alex Bonsior just kind of drives him all the way into the turn number 3. This is alongside. But yeah, I think maybe just a little bit pushing loose off the corner a little bit. You get a little bit tight, having to turn a little bit, knowing you might hit the wall. Just try to turn as much as you can. You're already on the gas a lot, and it just spins you out a little bit. So a lot, just kind of what happens there. But Keith Long goes around. He's at our 4th caution of the night. Now allows these drivers to come down and take 4 fresh tires once again.
So here comes Cameron Craighead off of pit lane. Will he be the first one? Yes, he will.
I was mentioning if you kind of saw a replay of what we saw in that first run, and Cameron Craighead kind of splits it, and Jason Bottoms goes about 15 laps longer. I mean, with that math, I mean, Jason Bottoms would have maybe got there right at the finish. Now that caution is going to throw a wrench into all plans again. As that's going to now could make it a little bit closer on fuel, especially with a caution here soon. Maybe after about 8 laps. About 8 to 10 laps could make it a kind of a fuel-saving, fuel mileage race. But Cameron Craighead will be the race leader, but Alex Bonsior. Actually, Alex Bonsior will be the race leader. It's only lap, but I don't know if Keith Long will claim that. So Alex Bonsior will stay out on the racetrack. So they have a little bit of damage on the left front. You can see the hood popped up just a tiny bit. A little bit of damage on that left front of the car, but shouldn't affect him too much. But Kyle Smith staying out on the racetrack and trying to get his lap back as he'll go back to 2 down. It's actually now he will be the only driver. He'll be the first driver 1 or more laps down. So he gets 2 more cautions. Kyle Schmitz will be back on the lead lap. So we'll see how that works out for Kyle Schmitz. I mean, if he gets back on the lead lap, you had just pace in that really first run, battling with Jason Bottoms that entire first run. Keep an eye out for Kyle Schmitz. If he gets back on the lead lap, he could be one to battle for this race win. As Cameron Craighead, he's had a really good pace tonight as well. Same with Jason Bottoms. Those 2 pretty much been the fastest all night long. They'll see a close. Alex Bonsior was close 4th early in that first run. Made a few mistakes. Few mistakes on the pit strategy. He's a little farther back. But now he's going to be back up front. But he's going to be a little bit older tires. So we'll see how well Bonsior can hold off the race lead on about 10 lap older tires right now.
So here we go. His car is off. And green flag back in the air.
Alex Bonsignor. Good restart, but here comes Cameron Craig on the outside. A little bit of fresher tires, 10 to 15 lap fresher tires. Bottom's trying to follow his way through, but kind of stuck behind the slower, older tires of Alex Bonsignor. Off the racetrack, Bottoms goes. He's going to get to the outside of Alex Bonsignor, but Cameron Craig a little off turn number 4. That's how Bonsignor back to the bottom as the cold tires maybe catching Cameron Craig a little bit off guard once again. He's going to be able to clear Bonsignor off on turn number 2, down the back straightaway. He's going to try and pull away from the rest of the field with that clean air.
Cameron Craig back out in front. We'll see how big of a difference that clean air makes. Looks like it's going well so far. Pulled himself to about half a second lead over Alex Bonsignor right there. So here comes Jason Bottoms, trying to get around the driver in front of him. About 14 lap different tire wear difference there between those two drivers.
Yeah, Bonsignor holding well right now on the older tires. He's still holding second. Bottoms really can't find his way by. And these two get really battling. That'll allow Cameron Craig to drive away big time. So keep in mind, we do have one green flag pit stop left in this race, so you could see some of these drivers make a big mistake on pit road. Still pretty wide strategy though. It's technically more a wider window now, because now you can pit in about 10 laps and make it to the finish, but also you don't want to pit that early. You pretty much wouldn't have any big advantage on the tires at that point, but it still makes it a pretty wide window. You can fit it after 40 laps or so, but I mean, still a wide window for these drivers to use. See a lot of Richmond, a really good track, especially how tough it is to pass. It's definitely a track you can kind of play around with strategy, especially if you get a long green flag run. See how that plays out, but so far so good tonight. It's been fun. Had multiple drivers up front so far. Now Jason Bottoms was able to get by Alex Bonsignor out for second, so now he's going to try and chase down Cameron Craighead in his final 75 laps of this race. So far, everyone kind of single filed out now, spreading out, just trying to save their tires. You also see a lot of damage from some of these drivers. Kyle Smith's had a lot of damage. He's hoping for 2 more cautions so he can get back on that lead lap. But he's also can't have it go green, because if you go green a little bit, some of these drivers get lapped, and he'll get trapped but lapped down again. Right now, really the closest battle on the racetrack between Alex Bonsignor and Cody Dorsey, as those drivers battling for third, is Bonsignor on the older tire, 10-15 lap older tires. He's still holding pretty good pace though compared to these drivers on the new tires, so good run so far for Bonsignor. Dorsey trying to close that gap in. He's trying to get by Alex Bonsignor, because now he's trying to chase down Jason Bottoms for that dash or cash prize. $10 extra there. So far, Bonsignor able to hold well. Holds that bottom pretty well there through 1 and 2. Right now, Cody Dorsey still able to get by Alex Bonsignor there.
as pit window should be opening here in the next 5 laps or so. Doubt anyone's gonna pit this early, but if they really want to be risky, you could, but definitely would be probably one of the more riskier moves here. I would expect these drivers to probably pit around with 35 to go, probably around about 30 laps, give or take. They can go around probably with around 25 to go. They can pit if they wanted to, so they can probably go next extra 43, 45 laps on this tank of fuel if they really wanted to. But I think splitting it more in half, having a little bit extra time on the racetrack with those newer tires would definitely help. Especially with drivers maybe further that back, Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey, compared to Cameron Craighead, who's out in front. Having to deal with some lap traffic right now.
Oh, but Kyle Schmidt's spinning in 3 and 4. He's going to keep it straight. I think he's trying to come down pit road. I was going to mention Keith Long did come down pit road. He went 2 laps down, and Kyle Schmitz was under attack and would have lost his lucky draw, but I think he kind of saw that come down pit road and almost spun it, getting onto pit road, kind of transitioned onto that apron, and that's what struggled there. And Kyle Schmitz, almost big mistake on pit road, able to keep it together. These 2 laps down, is at the hope this pit stop goes well.
Guys, right now, Cameron Craig has some good lap times here early on, about 2 tenths quicker than the whole rest of the field. And he was fastest in practice. He did have to serve a drive-through penalty due to an incident last week. I think it was due to lane change, it looks like. Right now,
currently holding the lead still. Jason Bottoms about 2 seconds behind, a second and a half to 2 seconds back. So they have a few lap cars kind of between them now. They have Kyle Schmitz between them, and Cameron Craighead has Evan Patinka right in front of him. So had to take it 3 laps down. Kyle Schmitz now down to 4 down after that pit stop, but he can make it to the finish. Should hope him go green a little bit now until everyone cycles out in pits. Kyle Schmitz working by Cameron Craighead there, as now we're under 60 laps to go.
As I mentioned before, around lap 35 to go is probably when I would come down pit lane. It would put this tire run around, pretty much you'd go around 20 more laps, so around 50 laps on total on these tires, and 35 to the end, which is a pretty good ratio, I would say, especially when we had 2 cautions there. Also during that 50 lap run we've had, or 30 lap run we've had so far on this tire set for Cameron Craighead.
So far, Cameron Craighead still holding the lead right now by about 1.3 seconds. He's starting to fall off a little bit compared to Jason Bottoms. That time by, Jason Bottoms about 0.2 faster. So see that gap start to close down a little bit. Just over a quarter of this race left, 54 to go. Two staying pretty much similar on pace. So far, Cameron Craighead still out by about 1.3 seconds.
As the last few laps is kind of shifting now, Jason Bottoms has caught up to Cameron Craighead just a little by little. Those last few laps, around a 10th a lap or so. So the momentum could be shifting here to the 5 machine here late in this tire run. Will Craighead come down pit lane a little early to maybe shift that momentum back to his favor? With 50 to go. The gap is closing to the race lead.
Yeah, down to about 1 second now over these drivers. With 50 laps to go.
Now here comes Jason Bottoms down pit lane, 48 to go this time by. Make it 47.
Early pit stop, so we'll see how that works out for Jason Bottoms.
It worked out well for Cameron Craighead. Had the caution come out at the right time, kind of was involved in the caution there that caused him to be out back in front. As here he comes down pit lane a lap after Jason Bottoms does. As coming down pit lane, make sure you get no penalty here. Pretty much the last pit stop if you're Sigrid the rest of the way. Jason Bottoms into his stall right now. Taking 4 fresh tires here. And away he goes. And Craighead most likely going to do the same thing here as well.
Yeah, so Cameron Craighead got down pit road, 4 tires in fuel there. Just like Jason Bottoms, where Jason Bottoms cycle out, he's currently coming down the front straightaway, down to the turbo 1, Cameron Craighead on the apron. Then Cameron Craighead, much better stop. He actually pulls away from Jason Bottoms. So right now, Jason Bottoms, not a good pit stop, a little bit slower on pit road. So see if he can kind of close that gap down a little bit more. Now under 55 to go, Cody Dorsey now our race leader. See if he can maybe make this overcut work out. I mean, and maybe chase down Jason Bottoms. He's trying to work for that dash for cash prize. See if that work out for Cody Dorsey. Right now, Cody Dorsey, the only driver on lead lap now, as everyone else is pitted or is already laps down. So Cody Dorsey, we'll see how much longer he can go. I don't think he can make it to the end. I mean, unless he can do a blind way 80 laps in that first one, but he also had that caution after 8 laps. So he was able to stretch it long. So we'll see if, see if Cody Dorsey can maybe stretch it as long as you can. Maybe just try and stretch it all the way to maybe like lap 180 or so, 190, just kind of hoping for a caution.
Yeah, definitely
Maybe try
could.
and jump up in front of track, get some extra track position.
Definitely could be a strategy there, just hoping for a caution. We've seen our fair share of cautions here tonight, and those also the colder tires. So once more drivers start pitting here, could see some cold tires spinning off of turn 2. That's what we've seen most of the cautions happen, at least here tonight.
And so far, he now just lost a lap to Jason Bottoms. So it's only Cameron Craig and Jason Bottoms. He's still running 22.8. So right now he still has a 20-second lead over Cameron Craighead. I think Cameron Craig will eventually get there if somehow he can make it to the end on fuel. Right now he will. I mean, he's about a second faster, but that tire wear will fall off for Cameron Craighead. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be too close. But I think Cody Dorsey will no doubt have to pit. Just don't see him going that far. He pitted last caution. Then that was on lap 117 is when we went in green, so he needs to go 80 laps on fuel. I don't think he can't do that. He can't save that much fuel. Maybe if you're not shifting, you could maybe save a little bit more. Let's go on board with Cody Dorsey, see what he's doing. I don't think he is shifting. Seems a little bit slower. Not hearing those RPMs go down, staying at 5th gear. So Cody Dorsey staying at 5th gear, that could save him a little bit extra fuel. Maybe that's how Dakota Bly was able to go a lot longer. But if it just wasn't shifting, that could make a difference. Maybe about 5 laps, especially here. You're not shifting. You're a lot slower though when you're not shifting.
I mean,
you save a little bit more fuel, especially with how close it could have been. If it saves about 5-10 more laps, I don't think it's going to be that extreme. It's maybe about 5 laps. So still maybe around 73 laps on fuel. He still needs to save about 10 extra laps of fuel.
Yeah, I
just can't do that
I just don't think it's possible. You have to go around 36 more times, which is 86 laps in total. That's got to be pretty much impossible. And Cameron Craig is already 13 seconds behind right now.
Yeah, so I mentioned that even if he can make it, I don't know if he can maintain. He can't to go that slow of a pace, and Cameron Craig will catch him, no doubt. And he's got to have he's got to kind of stay around that tire or pace, just try and save as much as he can now. Just hope Cameron Craig falls off quickly. Maybe hope for a caution. I think it's mainly just a gamble, trying to hope for a caution. As Evan Patinko down pit road, he comes out of pit road, 9-second pit stops there. So I believe it's just a 2-tire stop for Evan Patinko. He is already 4 laps down. Right now, since Cody Dorsey's still out of the racetrack, he only has 3 cars on lead lap. That shows you how much farther ahead Cameron Craig and Jason Bottoms are compared to the rest of the field. There's a 3-second gap between those drivers.
Cody Dorsey on the front straight right now. Currently 54 laps on his fuel and tires. So you can probably go around 10, maybe 15 laps more. Yeah, I think he's just kind of hoping for a caution at this point.
He's kind of getting a little sliver of hope now, because now Cameron Craig is starting to fall off a little bit. He'll stuck in the traffic a little bit with Dakota Bly. But right now, starting to slow off a little bit for Cameron Craig. The tire's starting to fall off. And also, he's actually getting held up by Dakota Bly there, because now Jason Bottoms is now within 2 seconds now of Cameron Craig, about 2 seconds back. So Cameron Craig is struggling to get by Dakota Bly right now. But here comes Cody Dorsey down pit road from the race lead. I'll promote Cameron Craig out of the race lead, but Cameron Craig is trying to get by Dakota Bly. Can't get by the lap machine of Dakota Bly, as she's still battling him.
On the wall there. Craig stays ahead for now, but that allowed Jason Bottoms to close the gap pretty big, about half a second last time by, with 30 laps to go.
Yeah, Jason Bottoms is on 1 lap older tires, but Cameron Craig, if he burns up his tires a little bit more, especially with that move right there, struggling to get by the lap cars. I mean, if he burns up his tires a little bit, he gets over aggressive and starts to burn up those tires and falls off those last 10 laps, Jason Bottoms will be there. So he can't make too many mistakes, has to stay clean. Has to stay perfect enough. But Jason Bottoms will be there. Jason Bottoms looking for his first win of the season. He's been up in the top 5, top 3 pretty much a lot this season. Just couldn't capitalize to get that win done, get the win. He's trying to look for his first win of the season. Right now, he's 1.2 seconds back from the race lead. A 1 lap tire difference. He's 1 lap older tires, but depends on how much better has he saved compared to Cameron Craighead. Still just under 30 to go. Still a long way to go here in this race. A lot of time for tires to be made. Tires to make a difference. But right now, only 3 drivers on the lead lap. Cameron Craighead, Jason Bottoms, and Alex Bonsignor. That tells you how dominant these two have been up front.
Yeah, between them, it's a 13-second lead right now for the top 2 drivers, with 27 come to 26 laps to go this time by. Closing in on the last few laps here at Richmond. We're 1/8 of the way left in this one, pretty much.
That's where you go. Coming to 25 laps to go, and the gap down to a second. All we have at the moment. Let's take this moment to do our Ellerin crank it up here from Richmond. Welcome back from our crank it up segment there. Now Jason Bottoms looks for the lead at a 1. He drives it in. He clears Cameron Craighead, but Cameron Craighead tries to cut down, tries to get back under, but just couldn't do it. Does it at the tire grip. The tires starting to play a factor now. Jason Bottoms saved his tires a little bit better. Now he's going to try and pull away from Cameron Craighead. He got a few lap cars to kind of help him out, gain that time a little bit, but now Cameron Craighead really starting to struggle. I think he may have hit the ball a couple times. It may have hurt those tires even more, as you see that right front damage on that 48 machine, as now Jason Bottoms pulls away by half a second. And now this is his chance to win this race, to get his first win of the season with 19 to go here from Richmond.
Yeah, he's pulled away big time over Cameron Craighead as soon as he passed him. Craighead already almost about a second back. Not sure how much Cameron Craighead has been pushing, but he's really fallen off a cliff here last few laps.
I think maybe, I wonder if that damage is hurting him. I think Cameron Craighead maybe hit the wall a couple times pretty hard. You see, it's a little damage, but I just don't know. Maybe that could be a little bit of wheel damage that really could be hurting him right now. He already took his fast pair. He had damage from earlier and already took his fast pair under that stop. So I don't know. Maybe this could be just the aero. Maybe make him a lot tighter. But right now, Jason Bottoms pulling away, as now he's got the faster car and he's pulling away, trying to set sail with 17 to go. Jason Bottoms putting the time in now, as he is now multiple tenths faster. Cameron Craighead 3 tenths slower than Jason Bottoms for the race lead. Now with this moment here with 16 to go, they don't really have it. You see it on a couple cars, but I think Kudably has it. Cody Dorsey actually has it on his roof rail there, but I see that StubHub logo on his car. If you want to support the Undisputed Cup Series when purchasing your tickets from StubHub, make sure to use the affiliate link in the description. Support the Undisputed Cup Series when purchasing your tickets from StubHub. Also, if you're also a driver looking to join a Cup Series league, make sure to reach out to the Undisputed Cup Series via their Facebook page and join the league from there. Always looking for new drivers and welcoming to drivers as well. Also, make sure to check out KK Woodscapes as well. They're in Berlitz Cafe, other sponsors of the league. See them going across our ticker all night long. Also see them on multiple race cars as maybe contingency sponsors. Those are all those sponsors supporting the league. But so far, Jason Bottoms out in front by 3 seconds now since he has the race lead. Now he's just hoping and praying, get to the white flag, no more cautions, because right now he has set sail. He is gone. He's got this race win in the bag as long as there's no cautions. I mean, we've seen it happen before early in the season. We saw it happen the season over at Auto Club. We had a really long green flag run with multiple pit stops, and then a late race caution comes out and shakes up the entire strategy. So it's never over till it's over. But right now, Jason Bottoms now out to over a 4-second lead. I wondered, Cameron Craig may have hit the wall a few many times. It just has some wheel damage. I mean, he just really is just falling off a cliff right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, he seems really quick, and I honestly thought he was posed to win this one. He pitted a lap later, had 1 lap pressure tires than Jason Bottoms, and was out by a 1.5 seconds ahead of him, 2 seconds even. And now Jason Bottoms has gapped him by 4 seconds in the last 10 laps pretty much. So something's definitely wrong with that 48 machine.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of damage to that right front tire now. We'll have to see, because right now he still has enough pace. He'll definitely finish second. It's about 5 seconds gap to Alex Bonsignor. So we'll see, maybe Bonsignor can catch him, but 10 to go now, 9 to go. That's up Bonsignor at 22. We'll see this time by. Is this coming off turn number 4? Cameron Craig had right at 23.319. Bonsignor at 22.580. So right now he's 8/10 faster. So I think Cameron Craig really overheated his right front, really killed his right front. I think he's definitely have to have some wheel damage.
But anyways, Jason Bottoms with 8 laps to go. About 5 second lead over Cameron Craighead. And Cameron Craighead might even lose second place right now.
Yeah, that Bonsignor is chasing that down, eating into that gap now, about 7 to 8 tenths faster per lap. He actually is now under 10 seconds to Jason Bottoms. He's a few tenths faster than Jason Bottoms. So obviously does not have enough time to get to him. He needs easily over a second a lap, and that's not going to happen. But Alex Bonsignor, he's closing down that gap to Cameron Craighead. That time by, it was about 7 tenths faster still, so he's got about 4 second gap to close down. Cameron Craighead really struggling with these tires. Actually dropped a 3rd gear there. I wonder if that's maybe just a replay glitch. I think he's definitely got wheel damage. He hit the wall a couple of times. Just really big mistakes there from Cameron Craighead. Might cost him second place here. 3 seconds is the gap.
Yeah,
and
6
right now,
laps
I think
to go.
that's going to be just enough for Alex Bonsignor to get there. 8/10 of a second per lap. 3 seconds. It's with 5 to go. I think he's going to get there right at the end.
Yeah, as long as there's no yellow flag, and I'm guessing none of these drivers want to see that here late in this one. It's been green for around, I believe, about 95, 100 laps or so since your last caution.
So the gap is under 2 seconds for Cameron Craig and Alex Bonsignor. With 4 laps to go, they're going to have a battle for second here as Jason Bottoms pulls over 8-second lead as he's just trying to get to the white flag as quick as possible. Just each lap feeling longer and longer for Jason Bottoms as he takes the line with 3 to go, down into turn number 1 now. But Cameron Craig, he's got Dakota Bly right behind him, and Here comes Alex Bonsignor for that second place spot. As with 3 laps to go, coming to 2 to go now. Bonsignor right to the back bumper of Cameron Craighead as he's got much faster corner speed. He's going to easily get there, should be able to make this pass quickly. As Cameron Craighead up into the wall again. Have to try and fight as hard as he can for the second place spot with 2 to go. But I don't think it's going to work out for him. Alex Bonsignor clears for second. And a great try to catch up to Cameron Craighead. But up front, Jason Bottoms, white flag, 1 lap to go as he enters turn number 1. He's been up front all night long, battling in that top 2, top 3 all night long. He's been up front all season long. Couldn't capitalize. He had a few more mistakes a couple of these races. But now tonight, it is Jason Bottoms' night off of turn number 4. Jason Bottoms, Wolverine at Richmond. He drives it all the way back around. He will be able to celebrate and park it. Well, unfortunately, you can't park it into victory lane, but you can park it in the old victory lane here at Richmond, right here on the front straightaway. But he's going to burn it down. But Jason Bottoms, our race winner, gets his first win of the season. Also, not to mention, a little bit extra cash prize as well for winning the Dash for Cash tonight. Jason Bottoms, a win and a little bit extra prize as well, as he makes out a little bit there, but he's burning it down here on the front straightaway here at Richmond and wins tonight's DR17 Graphics 150. A great win for Jason Bottoms. While he celebrates, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our top 3 interviews here from Richmond.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes, and we just wanted to say how excited we are to be sponsoring the Undisputed Cup Series this season for the championship trophy. And also, we are looking forward to working with you guys. Hopefully, we can bring your virtual victories into reality this season. And you can reach out to me on Discord, or you can scan the QR code below, and it'll take you to our Instagram page where you can see all the work we've done over the years. Thank you guys, and good luck this season.
Welcome back here to Richmond. As just wrapped up the DR17's graphics 150 here from Richmond. As you just saw, Jason Bottoms takes his first win of the season. Before we get to our top 10 news, let's take a quick look at our results for tonight's DR17 graphics 150. Jason Bottoms able to pick up the race win. Alex Bonsignor picks up second. Kipper Craighead rounds up the top 3 as Bonsignor was able to get by those last few laps there right at the end. But Cody Dorsey rounds out 4th tonight. Dakota Bly rounds up the top 5. Kyle Schmitz in 6th. Scott Herberg in 7th. Evan Pitsenko in 8th. Keith Long in 9th. And Derek Riley in 10th. And running our 11 car field tonight was David Wells crashing out early. Bringing our first caution of the night. But David Wells rounds out our 11 car field. But up front tonight, it was Jason Bottoms. He was close many times this season. Has great pace so far this season. Couldn't get that win. But tonight, you do it in dominant fashion, able to save your tires and get by Cameron Craighead there late. And how are you able to do it, and how does it feel to get this first win of the season?
Oh, it feels amazing to get NOS their first win with me. I've been trying to get them a win for a while, but just the new tire that was brought, just a lot better than the last one and could actually save it, and everyone was using it. So there was no one who had a bigger advantage than anyone else. So I felt like we were all kind of even on the new tire and just took advantage of being the better one on it.
Yeah, and tonight, you also, with this win, you also got a little bit of extra prize tonight. We're winning the Dash for Cash. So how's that feel, getting that extra prize there to win and able to win and go out with a bang and also win the Dash for Cash?
It's awesome, you know, anytime you get drawn for that, you want to compete and you want to make sure you're up front. And today we were able to do that. And I mean, we qualified 1, 2, 3, so it was on from the very beginning.
And a good win for you tonight, able to finally get into that parking into victory lane. But before we send you off on the way, any sponsor of the link for tonight's race win?
Yeah, I'd like to thank NOS Energy, Harry's Dogs, and everyone who supports this league. I can't remember names off the top of my head. That's bad. But everyone who's part of making this league happen, and all of our main sponsors. And you guys, of course.
And once again, congrats on your race win. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was our race winner of Jason Bottoms. We'll bring in our second place finisher of Alex Bonsignor, able to chase down Cameron Craighead there late in those last few laps. How are you able to do it there? Just, I think I'll have to talk to Cameron Craighead and see if he had some damage there. But what do you think? What was going through your head those last 10 or 15 laps trying to chase down Cameron Craighead for a second?
Honestly, I was thinking more like just trying to grow the gap between me and Cody Dorsey. I know Cody was really chasing me down there, and I wasn't really paying much attention to the gap between Cameron and myself. And then I know coming down to the last few, I was about a second and a half in front of him, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can be able to catch him and pass him. And we ended up doing that, and all in all, a good result for Richmond. I know I made some mess ups, and I'll be honest, you know, with this new update with these cars, I'm not a huge fan of them. They suck.
Yeah, we had a lot of new updates coming into this car. So just talk me through how that felt. How that felt for you. Just how did you kind of try to adapt to this new updates with these cars, and just kind of adapt to the dirty air, the new tire model, and just also how it drives.
So I know with the new updates, the dirty air, at least running in traffic, at least at this track, was a little bit better of a deal for me. I was able to run with these guys, keep up with them for a little bit, which wasn't terrible. The new tire model, it definitely needs to be a little bit of a work in progress, especially with some of the track surfaces that we have on the service right now. Because if you look back in practice, or I should say back in practice with me, I was losing the back end coming off of 4, and I wouldn't be on the throttle too hard. So there's definitely room for improvement through iRacing. But as of right now, at least for Richmond's sake, I was not a huge fan, but that might change come next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, you able to use tonight and kind of you still pretty well through these updates, able to hit a solid second place finish for you tonight. Still a little bit short of that first race win of the season, still, but still overall very solid season for you so far. But before you send you up on your way, any thoughts to think for tonight's second place finish?
Yeah, before I get into that, yeah, still short on my first win. I know I'm just kind of going through my head, like, my time's coming. I know it's coming soon, and, yeah, we'll wait for that. But as for sponsors, I got to give a big shout out to Viking Motorsports, Cooper Glick at Coop Designs, and my esports team, Extreme Performance Motorsports. I know I'm putting some laps in. Come next week after Charlotte, we'll be getting ready to run Majors 24 at Le Mans.
All right, well, good luck in that, and also once again, congrats on your second place finish, and we'll see you next week at Charlotte.
All right, thank you.
So that was our second place finisher, Alex Bunce. We'll bring our third place finisher of Cameron Craighead. Led a lot of laps tonight, was up front, had to work his way from the back again as he couldn't get that qualifying he'd hoped for, but you're able to work your way up through the field, able to be leading a lot of that final run there, but just kind of fell off a rock there. Just, I don't know, it looked like you had a little bit of right front damage. Just kind of talk us through what happened there and what do you think could have done differently, maybe try and save those tires a little bit better.
Well, you know, all night I was running a fast car, but it's just trying to figure out how to use dirty air and get around it, because when you get behind people, you're just not able to make moves. And in that last run, I got stuck behind lap traffic, and I burned my stuff up trying to get past them, and it was so tight. And eventually, I hit the wall, broke my front wheels, so I was just trying to limp it back home at that point.
Yeah, you're still able to limp back home to third. A really solid run for you tonight. But we also kind of saw how you were so dominant last week at Watkins Glen, and a couple of mistakes. But just tonight, just kind of talk about how that those new updates tonight. You saw a lot of these drivers start to struggle. A few mixed reactions. Some really loved it. Some really don't like it. But just kind of the tire model, the dirty air, and just how are you able to combat that tonight and trying to get used to that, especially at this long race tonight at 200 laps.
I'm not a big fan because, you know, I'm usually really aggressive on tires, especially at short tracks. They can last, and with this new update, you gotta take care of them. And the tire model is just disintegrate, and the cars, they don't want to be around other people. If you have clean air, you'll be able to stay up front because you can just aero block. And at short tracks, you either push them out the way or you gotta just manhandle it somehow. There's no getting up next to them. It's just impossible with these new cars.
Yeah, but you're still able to learn the new car tonight. A lot, kind of a good test for a lot of these drivers, all you guys tonight, and especially kind of see how that plays out coming to the Iowa next 2 more weeks. Is kind of a similar racetrack, short racetrack. So that'll definitely be fun to watch at Iowa. Personally, I like the driven in both, but it's very well. But that'll be fun to watch those coming up next week. But coming up in a few weeks. But you're able to combat those tonight. Get kind of everyone able to get those good runs in, and you're still able to get a very solid third place run for you tonight. Before you sign off on your way, any thoughts to think for tonight's third place run?
I want to thank my parents, Cavalier Racing, Race Labs. I want to thank y'all for the broadcasts. They're awesome to watch, and y'all do a great job every week. And I want to thank everybody who helps make this league happen. Usually, people are good to race with. Sometimes it's a struggle, but, you know, that's how racing is. But, yeah.
And once again, congrats on your third place finish. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
All right, thank you.
So that was our third place finisher of Cameron Craighead there, just getting caught in those last few laps. Getting passed for second by Alex Bonsignor. But a lot of these drivers, a lot of tonight, we saw a lot more tire wear, and a lot of these drivers getting used to the new updates of this race car. So it's something fun to watch, and we'll kind of see something similar, I think, coming up in Iowa for next couple in about 2 weeks, and also we'll have the first 1.5 mile test next week at Charlotte. So definitely be a few fun races coming up this week, but tonight it was definitely a good test to see, good test to get used back to this the new updates to this race car.
Yeah, kind of like I mentioned before, just kind of a lot of unknowns, and I think there's still a lot of unknowns after this race as well. Some of these drivers struggling with the tire wear, struggling with the dirty air a little bit. maybe not the biggest factor here tonight, but just a lot of unknowns still going into these next few races, and right now we're in the middle of the regular season right now, so yeah, kind of figure it out before we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and 5 more races left until the playoffs, and 2 rounds of the playoffs, post 3 rounds. So we'll see. We'll kind of get in that back half of that regular season now, so we start to see some momentum start to build for some of these drivers, maybe, and some of these late playoff pushes. But also when you're in, so also that win for Jason Bottoms will put him into the playoffs as well. So great run for him tonight, but. We'll also see that first 1.5 mile test with these new updates next week at Charlotte. But before we get there, we'll also give it 2 more cup races coming up this week, just this weekend here on the Legends Racing Network. Tomorrow night we'll have the Friday night we'll have the DR Cup Series. They'll be going to Atlanta at the new Echo Park Speedway is just freshly updated as well, 9 o'clock Eastern time on tomorrow night. And on Sunday night we'll have the Stampede Racing League GC Riders Premier Series. We'll get a taste of what we're going to see next Thursday night at Stampede. They'll be going to Charlotte at 9 o'clock Eastern time as well. So same with Undisputed Cup Series next season. Next week. But Monday night we'll have the Chase Race number 2 for the 5 Points Racing League Turnkey Network Series at Watkins Glen at 9 o'clock Eastern time. On Tuesday night we'll have the season opener for the Legends Racing League for the Gen 4 Series at Legacy Daytona at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday night. And of course we'll have and then we'll have a break for the Superstar ARCA Cup. They'll be the week after next Wednesday, so they'll be going to Michigan for their regular season finale at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time in 2 weeks' time. So not this coming up Wednesday, but next Wednesday on the 18th. On the 25th. Apologies there. But and then also next Thursday we'll have the Undisputed Cup Series. We're going to Charlotte, 8:50 p.m. Eastern time. But it was definitely a fun race to watch tonight. And we saw Jason Bottoms get his first win of the season. And this has been the DR17 Graphics 150. So long here from Richmond. We'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network.